Heroes of Fantasy Football Podcast.
And welcome back to another episode of the Heroes of Fantasy Football Podcast. That is Chris Felice spinning down below. We got Joe Capozzi over here, and I'm your host for this evening, Matt High. Got another fun episode talking about those rookie running backs. Although this isn't the best class, there's still guys that are you need to kind of pay attention to. So first off, how are we guys doing?
Better than Rashee Rice.
Made it about 5 seconds before that dropped. Yeah.
How long did it go? 15 seconds?
That's the latest breaking news today. It's that.
Yikes!
As you said, I don't think this running back class is anything like. There's no like Breece Hall. There's no Bijan Robinson, but I do think that there's talent. I think I could compare this running back class to last year's wide receiver class in terms of excitability in my head. So,
I can see that. Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Had a good day. Now I'm here talking about as everyone has been saying, this not as exciting class of talent compared to some of the other things that we've talked about. But yeah, no, doing good. Ready to have some good discussion here on this podcast.
This class would have been very excited if Trayvon Henderson declared for the draft, because it was him, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Caleb that made me trade for all these picks because I wanted those three very badly.
And only two of them are here.
Only two of them.
I remember when you were sweating before Caleb finally announced, because you were like, "I traded for all these picks and these guys aren't even going to show up."
Or no, I won't play for the Bears.
Yeah,
it was Marvin Harrison.
Can we talk about that really fast? Sorry, super weird. I love how the narrative switches so fast. You guys hear that Caleb Williams has actually canceled every single other interview with every single other NFL team besides the Bears, and the rumors are now saying that he wants to play for the Bears. Even after all this time, the talk was he doesn't want to play for the Bears. He hates the Bears. He has said time and time again that he will not play for the Bears because they suck and they're doo-doo and the Packers own them. Sorry, that was a little too much. But no, like I just love how the narrative switched so fast.
We're going to see that up until the draft. I mean, it's a lot of it. It's smoke season. Like everyone's lighting little tiny fires and just smoking things out, and this happens every year. Maybe not to this degree, this extent, but
it does. For some
he
people,
knows he's going number one. So it doesn't. He's like, why would I go to the other guys if I know I'm not going there? Because the Bears aren't trading their pick away, especially now after Justin Fields trade. They have to get a quarterback. Why not take the first overall pick?
Of course.
So it's smart on him. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna waste my time because I know where I'm going.
To your point, Matt, I was so scared with all these college NIT deals that half the players I wanted weren't going to declare. I already lost Trayvon Henderson and Ibuka, which are two very good players I was excited for. That they're like, oh, I'm getting paid more through these NIT deals. I might as well just stay in college and get paid bank. And it's like,
the NIT or NIL?
NIL.
Yeah.
Okay. But I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah. I remember there was a couple chats, a couple messages in the chat where you're just like, I'm done. This is it. I don't care. Take all my picks. And then luckily, you don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
You have
basically the Henderson one hurt. Ibuka sucks because I liked him, but it wasn't the worst in the world. But if Caleb or Marvin Harrison Jr. did not declare, I would have been so angry.
Yeah, I mean, you have picks 1 and 2 in our Superflex rookie draft. So you get Caleb and Marvin Harrison. Which one are you going to take first? Who are you going to give the first overall pick?
Yeah, what statistic are you going to add to?
I think I need to give Caleb the first in a Superflex league. He deserves the first overall pick. But that said,
Marvin.
If there was a world where I traded the number 2 pick to someone and I had to choose between them at number 1, for my team, I would take Marvin Harrison Jr. For my team.
Well, yeah, because your team is like 8 quarterbacks deep. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sir.
Yeah, I got to get one of those. We'll see. But all right, let's dive in. So first, we kind of touched on it. We're going to do it really quick, and then we're going to get into the running backs. But Rishi Rice, an arrest warrant has been issued for him for he was a knucklehead, and we're just not going to go too far into that. But why? What is it with people nowadays? Just be better. Why can't we just be better? We have nice things, and then you do something stupid like that, leaving the scene of a crime. Like, come on.
Dude, if I
We're
was
better
as
than
rich
that.
as if I was as rich as these football players, I would not drive myself anywhere. I'd have Wayne in the limo ready to bring me wherever I need to go at all times. Just like I just especially like if you're going like a night out like partying with your boys, just hire a driver. You have more money than God. Just hire a driver.
I want to amend that really quick. My driver would not be named Wayne. He would be Alfred because I'm a big Batman fan. So,
Well,
Alfred, we're going around town. Let's go. So,
yeah, no,
that's not it.
it's a really bad situation on all fronts. Unfortunately, truthfully, I think there needs to be a bit of money management, perhaps that needs to be done. Either some things need to be made in terms of budget cuts on salaries, or there need to be some mandatory classes or something. I feel like at times because
Don't be an idiot, class.
not even that, but like I always like tell myself, sorry, I don't, we're not supposed to go into this, so I'll be really fast. I always tell myself, like, man, like you always see all this, like, people do, like, not just like professional athletes, but just anybody with money. It's like do all this like stupid stuff, and all of a sudden it's just like, man, you really got to think to yourself, like, is that much money really gonna get to people's heads? Like, there's got to be, like, we got something has to be done. I mean, you got to think about it. These people, I mean, I'm 25 personally, right? So Rasheed Rice, I believe, is 22, 23,
22 or
24?
23.
Yeah, something like
Somewhere around
that.
there.
He's 3 years younger than me, or something like that. 3 years, like, he's a kid to that certain extent, and not used to all that money. Also, just give them the money of the world. No, it sucks. But anywho, I digress.
Yeah. Someone will teach you don't be an idiot class, and Kadarius Tony will still not show up. So, all right, let's dive in here. So, first, general thoughts about this running back class. Good, bad. We kind of touched on it. How many guys do you think are going to go day? Are we going to get any day one guys? Any first round running backs?
I'll let Chris go first.
I gotta be honest with you. If there is, it's a very, very late round situation. I am trying to think really fast of a couple people. I can't. No, I don't know. I don't think so. Here, hold on one second. Come back to me, Joe. Go, please. I need to look at
I
something.
don't think so. Not in the first round. I think it's only going to be second, day 2, day 3 guys. There's going to be multiple wide receivers and quarterbacks in the first round, which is exciting. I saw a couple of articles saying that we could even have. I think even you told me, Matt, that we could even have 5, maybe first round quarterbacks, which is super exciting to hear. I don't think there's going to be 5. I think it's going to be 3 or 4. But even for any draft, like look at last draft, we had one. We had Kenny Pickett for in the one year.
2022, we had Kenny Pickett.
2022,
Yeah,
we
that was it.
only had Kenny Pickett, and he was what, picked 20, like not top 5
Yeah.
or anything, which is not exciting. This is going to be probably 3 in the top 5, which is super exciting. Because even if they're not the best, like that draft capital makes you excited for them, as we've seen with
Mhm.
like Zach Wilson and stuff. But for running back, none on day 1 for me.
Okay, sorry, I just came back. I needed to pull up the actual draft order to make sure I had this correct. I
I
got
did the
three.
exact same thing.
Yeah, I have 3 teams who might do it. And I have one that I actually think is probably the biggest chance. So I'll do the first 2. At pick 27, the Cardinals. They might, possibly. A little bit of surprise, but at pick 30, the Baltimore Ravens. I know they just got Derrick Henry, but he is old. I don't know. Is Dobbins on the team?
Right now, yes,
They
but
also have
he's
Keaton. They also
been
have Keaton Mitchell too.
Oh,
coming
I
off
did
an
forget about
injury,
Keaton
so
Mitchell. So
yeah.
you know what? Scratch that. The team that I actually think will draft it though, the Cowboys. I
I don't think
don't
they're taking a pick in round 1 though.
know.
It's
Pick number
Jerry
20.
Jones, so
I picked number
24.
so true.
It's Jerry Jones, so
It's
he does
Jerry
what he wants.
Jones.
But
That's so true.
yeah,
That's so true. No, you're right.
the Chargers and the Cowboys are the team that I think might pull the trigger earlier or pull the trigger first. Probably in the second round. It'll depend. But I agree. I don't think there's going to be any round 1 guys out of some crazy thing that happens. Teams do weird things, so it could happen, but I would put the probability at pretty low. So all right, let's go in here. Our first running back we're going to talk about, Trey Benson out of Florida State, 6'1", 216 pounds, 4.39 40. Pretty good 2023 season. 138 rush attempts, 800 yards, 14 touchdowns. Didn't do a whole lot in the passing game, but what do you guys think about Trey Benson here?
You want to go first, Chris?
Yeah, sure. I feel like in light of the next person we're going to talk about and their injury, this is probably the first person off the board, most likely. Uh, I it's going to be kind of tough to evaluate because a lot of the game moving forward seems to be this pass catching type of guy, and as you said, he didn't really do a lot of it. But I'm looking at everybody else on this list here. And the guys that did do a decent amount of it are towards the bottom. Really, only one stands out to me as like a whoa, this guy could be a thing maybe. Um, but I feel as if he had 22 targets and 18 receptions. Those are good numbers. I feel as if translating into a league, if he can adjust, it looks better. I feel like if you're a team that needs a running back, in terms of fantasy, and this guy kind of falls to you, I'm not gonna complain. I don't think he's gonna be bad by any means. I don't know what team he's gonna go to. It's a little hard to tell currently, just as the discussion that we had just had. So a lot of it's really going to depend on that. But this is probably going to be a very solid, reliable guy, minus like 4 teams he gets to with really bad lines.
What about you,
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah, I think Trey Benson's very athletically talented. He's definitely not my running back 1. I think he just needs more time and more development in his game. He has the athletic ability, but I don't think he's quite ready to be that 3 down. I don't think he's a 3 down back right now. I think he's going to be a running back 2, running back 3 on a team. He might be in a committee. He might even just be behind someone for right now, but I think he has the potential to being more than just a committee back. But that's yet to be seen. So that's why I don't think he's going to be taken very highly. But I think he has that athletic ability to be there.
Yeah, he was someone that, like, when I first watched his tape, I wasn't super impressed. I don't know if I was in a bad mood that day or just early in the process, but I went back and watched him again, and he's someone that I liked watching I liked more the more I watched. And I agree. I don't think he's going to come out the gate running as an RB1 or even RB2 right from the get-go. But he does show promise, and I think if you're looking for year 1 type numbers, I think he might end up finishing the best just because of a couple of the other guys are a little bit lower, or we'll talk about the next guy coming off an injury, but he's decent. He shows promise. I think I mean, he's a little inconsistent at times, but for me, I kind of look at the Bengals pick at pick 49. That's where I can see maybe them taking a shot because they might go a wide receiver in round 1 because I kind of expect I hear a lot of rumors that T. Higgins is going to get traded during the draft, and that could be good. I think that'd be good for Higgins, and I think that would also be good for the Bengals because they load up on a little bit more draft capital. And he's someone I think you could slot in and take over a little bit as the year progresses, because that's really what we're looking for these guys. None of these backs this year that are being drafted will most likely be the RB1 slot in right away. I mean, that was Bijan last year. We kind of thought it was going to be Gibbs. There's no one like that in this draft, it seems. So I liked him, but we'll let the NFL decide. I'm going to let the NFL decide what they think about these guys. Like, that'll be probably where my rankings go, because they could do something crazy. But all right, next guy here, we alluded to it, coming off an injury, Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. He is 6'1", 216 pounds. Didn't participate in the combine because he tore his ACL on November 12th. All the news seems that he's going to be cleared to practice and do OTAs and stuff, practices and everything by July 1st. Really good 2023 season. 187 rush attempts, over 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns, 29 targets, 25 receptions for 286 yards. So I think we are all in agreement that he's probably our RB1A, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, if you look at Jonathan Brooks, you even said it. You look at his limited snap count. He's athletic, he's fast, he's got good vision. He's just what you want in a starting running back. And outside of his injury, I think if he didn't have that injury, he'd be a day one pick maybe, and quite possibly just a pick and a slide and start into the NFL. But due to that injury, if he can go back to his form after the injury, he has 100%. I think he's 100% going to be a starter somewhere in the NFL eventually.
100% agreed. He's someone that's probably going to be more 2025. Like, that's where you're looking at him a little bit more. He could surprise us this year too. I mean, it's just usually with the ACL injuries, it takes at least a year plus to get back, or 2 years or so, to really get back to how you were before. We've seen it with Saquon Barkley and all these guys that tear their ACLs in the NFL. It takes some time. Like, we want these guys to be better ASAP, and it just doesn't happen. But he's a guy, I think you're playing the long game for him. You're not really drafting him for this season. You're looking ahead at wherever he gets drafted. He could take over next year and be one of the best running backs. Well, probably the best running back in this class. Well, what are your thoughts on Jonathan Brooks, Chris?
No, I mean, I have to agree. This is definitely, I feel like you're looking at a guy, the long game. This is him, as you said. You're definitely thinking about the future, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially at the running back position, depending on who you are. Not the most important thing in the universe if you don't have like some of those top guys there. Truthfully, as we had said before, this is my RB1. I would take him going forward in the future. I'm hoping that longevity continues. I'm hoping that the injury doesn't tarnish him forever, and I'm hoping that his placement for whatever team drafts him is very good, so that way he will have a really good career, and therefore will give me a very good career in fantasy football.
Yeah, let's not forget too. In 2022, he didn't really see the field that much, but it's because Bijan Robinson was there, so that shouldn't really count against you too much when you have someone of that caliber running the team. So that's just one thing to say about him. But I think his future looks bright. It's really just going to come down to the injury. If he can come back from it and be the guy he was in Texas this past year before the injury, I think he's going to translate pretty well for the NFL. Next guy here, and he's somewhat polarizing. I think you guys might be a little higher on him than I am. So we're going to talk about Mr. Blake Corum out of Michigan. They won the title this year. He is 5'8", 205 pounds, 4'5", 340, 202 rush attempts, 976 yards, 22 touchdowns. So that's a huge number. 4.8 yards per carry, 13 targets, 11 receptions for 72 yards. So basically nothing in the passing game. This is a team that just ran the ball down your throat until you couldn't take it anymore, and then continued to do so. What do you guys think about Blake Corum before I give this fun stat I found?
Ooh.
You want to go first, Chris?
Yeah. So I am actually a Blake Corum fan, not for probably anything rational. I just want to see him succeed. I love the 5'8", 205 pounds. It's such an interesting build for running back, and I think there are plenty of ways this could play out to where he's really, really good. There are a couple things that concern me. And there are a couple things that I feel like are really good. For one, as you mentioned, this team of Michigan really ran it to the ground, and that's a good thing because a lot of time people of this like kind of stature might get hurt easily. And while he hasn't taken any NFL hits before, consistently from players, I feel as if the fact that the run game was so prevalent on that team shows that he has at least some sort of durability there. So that's a plus. A negative is definitely the 40-yard dash. Probably need to get the. Oh, did I just black out? Am I back?
You froze for a sec, but
You're here. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. My apologies. Once again, my negative 40-yard dash. Definitely not ideal. I would like it to be a little faster. I worry about the next level NFL hits, so I don't want to trust on college level durability to translate. So speed is a really nice way to kind of equalize that sort of issue. If he can take those hits, I feel like he could have a decent career to a good career. Like I said, I'm rooting for him. Blake Corum, go for it. Hope you have a good team behind you. And God help your soul if you get drafted to the Giants. What about you, Joe? What do you think?
Everything I've seen, the tape I've watched, and everything I've read is everyone says Blake Corum is he's a system running back. He's not an athletic freak. He doesn't have the size. He doesn't have the speed. But you've put him into a system, and he learns the system, and he does very well in the system. I mean, look at what Michigan did. They did pretty well. So I think if he finds it, yeah, they did pretty good. They systemed a little bit.
Yeah.
if you put him in a position where it would be like he has good vision, like he has good football sense. Is he an athletic freak like Bijan? No, but I think I'd rather have that vision to start than that being an athletic freak, because you could be Derrick Henry, and if you run into another NFL player, you're going to get tackled. You could be, but if you have that vision, you'd be like, okay, there's a hole right there. You can break free and get some yards, get some fantasy points. So that's a part of me that makes me excited for him. That being said, he is not an athletic freak. He's not fast. He's not the big guy, which makes me a little more scared for him. Could get hurt a little easily. We got to see how he stacks up with these NFL hits. But I'm not a hater. I just don't think I'm excited for him, if that makes sense. But I think he could do well depending on where he goes. If there's a good line that he can kind of see the gaps and work his way in, I think he could be, if not a system running back in a committee. But I don't think he's a 3-down back. But he could prove me wrong. So, what about you, Matt? The Corum hater.
Before you go, I just want to say that Barry Sanders is also 5'8". I just want to say that. Just throw that out.
He was fast though.
That what that is accurate. That is slightly accurate. He was also 203 pounds. All right, let me find out this 40 time from hold on. Oh, go ahead, Matt. I'm gonna pull this up.
All right, I'll go. You jump in when you got it. Okay. So initial thoughts watching his tape is he is the most landing spot dependent running back in this class. I think that might be safe to say. Goes to a bad spot and take him off the draft board. If he goes to the Cowboys, or if he finds his way on his college coach's Chargers, that might be good. There's going to be a lot of hype around him. To me, he's jack of all trades and a master of none. He does everything well, but nothing amazing. Okay. So this is the stat I wanted to share with you guys. So I was looking at combine stats from 2000 until now, because I'm crazy. Guys with similar combine speed, stats, measurables compared to him and size. These are the names. Tell me if you are happy or disgusted. Ready? Michael Carter, Giovanni Bernard, Javian Hawkins. Those are all guys that are nowhere. That's who he measures against. And I'm not saying that that's everything. I'm not writing him off completely
Wow.
just because these other
That's
guys are here, but
crazy.
that's the company he's in. So I think the deck is somewhat stacked against him, partly due to his size, and he's slow. Yes, I can see him. He does have decent
You're such a
vision.
hater.
I am a hater, but hey, this is what we're here for. You need to
Barry
know
Sanders
these
with a
things.
4.37, by the way. in
Well,
his
there you
combine.
go. This guy is
I just wanted to point. I had to.
Blake Corum's still running his 40 time. So that's kind of where I stand with Blake. That could completely change if he goes to one of those good situations, though. He could be one of these guys where you're like, all right, yeah, the Cowboys liked him so much they drafted him in the second round. Okay, they're gonna give him the ball. So now I need to change it a little bit. But just also remember, we had this exact same, if that does happen, we had the similar situation before. Jonathan Taylor went in the second round, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire went in the first round to the Chiefs, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's now the 101." And look how that turned out. So it's more correlation, not causation. So just one of those stats. You got to kind of that could be enough for you to be like, "All right, I'm done. I'm not going to draft him." But some people might say, "Yeah, no, I don't care. They like him. I'll draft him now." Anything else we want to add about Blake Corum before we move on? Before this gets posted everywhere saying I'm the number one Blake Corum hater. Because I know Richie likes him.
You're like Richie with Puka Nacua.
Yeah. Hey, that's fine. I'll do. I'll be that. I'll be the guy.
Does that
Blake
mean I have
Corum.
to draft him in the 5th round?
You might need. Yeah.
with
We'll
pick
see.
510. With pick 510, Chris
Yeah, good luck
drafts
with that.
the next league winner.
Well, we were talking before the show. Joe's giving you all his draft picks, so
That is
you should
true.
get him with one of those.
I am getting all of his draft
Yeah.
picks by force.
All right. Moving on here. This is a guy that I was kind of impressed with. So Jalen Wright out of Tennessee, 5'11", 210 pounds, 4.38 40. So decent time. 136 rush attempts, just over 1,000 yards, only 4 touchdowns, but 7.4 yards per carry, which is pretty nice. 25 targets, 22 receptions, 141 yards. Nothing crazy, but a little bit of a baseline. Similar to kind of Trey Benson, not heavily utilized, but it's there, and he looked good doing it. What did you guys think about Jalen Wright? Let's start with you, Joe, because I remember we were talking pre-show about him a little bit.
Yeah, I like Jalen Wright a lot. He's actually my RB2 for the class personally. He's very athletic, which is great, and he's young, which both of those together, sign me up. The only thing I've seen in terms of people knocking him online is that they say that he might be a little too young and he might need to learn, have a little more football sense in his game. But I definitely think he has the potential to be a 3-down back in the NFL. He has the talent athletically, and I think he'll be able to learn if he's lacking some vision or just learning the game a little more with the system he falls into. I could see him being a 3-down back.
I think I could see that. I was pretty impressed. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean the stats kind of say it all. In all honesty, he literally statistically did more with less than a lot of people on this list here. I'm like kind of going through it, including our favorite Jonathan Brooks. Now, obviously, his season ended early, but still, numbers don't lie. They're pretty good. The 25 targets and 22 receptions is also very nice. In my personal opinion, I see versatility, a guy that can hopefully learn a system. I know he's talked about that maybe he doesn't have that, but my hope is that going in, he'll be able to kind of pick up on what's going on. adapt to his game. Maybe we see more pass catching. I mean, once again, the ratio is fantastic. 25 to 22 receptions. That's awesome. I have nothing bad to say about Jalen Wright.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if we're talking in January after the 2024 fantasy season that he's the guy everyone wants for 2025. He's someone that everyone's trying to trade for because he landed in a good spot, took over a backfield, and can grow into this, prototypical 3-down workhorse back that we all love so much in fantasy. He was quick. He's very agile, quick feet. He plays really quick, which is nice. He's got breakaway speed, and he can go full throttle in a burst. He was good in pass protection, which is something that's going to keep you on the field more. So that kind of goes to the 3-down running back stature. It really depends on where he lands. Like if he goes to a good team, like I can easily see him being one of the probably one or two this year as far as this class's running backs. It's going to be fun watching where he lands. I'm so excited for the draft. I know that the running back class isn't that great this year, but I'm taking everything in. I want to know where these guys go. So I wish it was here already, but
I'm so ready for the draft. I can't wait to use all my draft picks that I have. All 5.10, and that's about it.
Yeah. Same here.
Listen, sacrifices have to be made. All right, I won, so now I don't get to have fun during the draft. That's completely fine.
You could. There's been offers. But...
You're right. I've had a couple actually. I've had a couple. I'm thinking about it. Sorry, I've been busy. Okay, I've been busy. I have a spreadsheet.
Oh, you want to talk about spreadsheets? Come talk to me. I got spreadsheets for my spreadsheets.
Your spreadsheets kind of terrify me.
As they should. I wield a power that should not be wielded by many. So, all right. So I think that's kind of wraps up here with Jalen Wright. Let's go on to Marshawn Lloyd out of USC. 5'9", 220 pounds, so a big boy. 4'4", 640, a little bit on the slower side. 115 rush attempts, 816 yards, 9 touchdowns. Another one with 7.1 yards per carry. 18 targets, 13 receptions for 232 yards. So the 232 yards on 13 receptions is pretty good. Like I watched a lot of burst plays from him in the passing game, taking screens to the house and, making these big chunk plays, but he's a little bit slower. I watched him a lot and he never wanted to run outside. Like watching his tape, I was a little frustrated because he just only ran in the center. He always tried to cut back, and he's got a little bit of ball control issues. He had like 4 fumbles last season. So what do you guys think about Marshawn Lloyd?
Personally, right, I think this is just something that we're all going to feel. We're dipping into the rest of these backs are a little more iffy in terms of how everything is going to go. I'm hoping for him. Like I said, I like it when the short guys do stuff because they can be very entertaining and be very good at times. The stature is there. He just like Brian, he needs to work on the speed a little bit. Did I say Brian? It's Blake. Sorry, my apologies. Wrong B name. But yeah, I love the yardage through the receptions. That's great. That's awesome. I just don't know if that's going to be enough to compensate for everything else. Personally, unfortunately, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Chris, where he looked pretty athletic out there on the tape I've watched, but like some of these other guys we just talked about, I have more hope for than Lloyd. I guess we'll see where he goes in the draft, but he has a chance to be a running back in the NFL, but it all depends on where he goes, the situation he's in, and what teams value him at. He's not the top of the crop in the class, which is, as you said in the beginning of the show, is not a huge crop to begin with. So all depends.
Yeah, no, I'm mistaken. He's not the guy that runs only down the center. That's another guy coming up. This is the guy that he's just, for me, he's a little too slow to get around the end. He's not going to beat you around the end. And that's kind of where I view him more as a day 3 pick at best. He's probably going to be one of these guys that bounces around the NFL for a couple of years, and then that's kind of it, which, sucks to say, but it happens so frequently, unfortunately. Next guy here, Braylon Allen out of Wisconsin. Now, he's someone that he's very young. We'll start with that. Graduated high school early. I think he is 20 years old, which I think it might be one of the youngest running backs ever in a draft class. So he's really young. So that's part of it. But man, he's a big guy. 6'1", 235 pounds. His 2023 season, 181 rush attempts, 982 yards, 12 touchdowns, 5.4 yards per carry, 30 targets, 28 receptions for 131 yards. Let's start with you, Joe. What do you think about Braylon Allen?
Yeah, watching him and everything I've read from all these analysts online, he's a good athletic running back with very poor football sense. That's what I've gathered from what I've seen him play, from what I've read. He just doesn't make good decisions when he's running the ball. That being said, he is very young and he's very athletic, so I still think he'll be a mid-round pick in the NFL. But he has a lot to learn, so that's the big knock for me on him and what I've read. He's still young, so he has time to learn that stuff. But at the moment, some of his football decision making and finding space and gaps and stuff, it's not there yet. Chris?
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. Amongst everybody else on this list here, I would say that this person is probably my sleeper pick of the draft. Not for this year, but for a dynasty perspective, for the future. If Jonathan Brooks is the guy that you're taking, like for the future, knowing that he's going to do his thing, this is the guy that you're going to take the slight risk on with your probably 4th or 5th round pick, if we're being honest, in your rookie drafts. I don't see him going any earlier. I don't think. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
I've seen him a lot in like the mid-second, late second.
Really?
I don't know where. Yeah. Well, it's the running back task.
I guess.
People want to draft running backs. It's even if
I
they're
guess.
not that great.
I don't see it personally. I actually have his combine report here. Now he didn't do a 40-yard. He did a vertical jump, broad jump, and on bench press, I believe, and that was it. Yes, it is. They have him ranked 8th on the athleticism score, and he's 8th among running backs at the combine. But where he was struggled was their production score. Now take this with a grain of salt, obviously, right? It's literally through NFL, so I don't know how tried and true you want to listen to this. But he was 14th there among running backs. I feel as if this is the guy that you will probably take, and in 2 to 3 years, you either don't know his name and he never existed, or I don't know, he's a starter somewhere, probably put it in a couple 1,000-yard seasons in a row. And he came, and people are going to say he came out of nowhere, and you can be that guy who said he had him since the beginning. That's where I see it. So yeah, definitely the biggest sleeper here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, a couple positives I saw when I was watching his film and everything. Decent pass protection, ability to catch the ball when he needs to, as we see with his target totals. He can hit a pretty good hole and then make a chunk play, but out of that, I thought he played a little bit slower. He missed holes, and when he was hit, I thought he went down a little too easy. Arm tackles were bringing him down, and at 235 pounds, like, you just think Derrick Henry, like, plowing people over. It's just not his game right now. Now, he is really young, so that could be coached out of him or into him, whatever way you look at it. He could be one of these guys that could be a little bit more of a sleeper, but it's really gonna be, it's I think a lower probability in my mind right now. He's probably going to end up being more of a goal line back for a team just because of his size. And, you're going to put the big dude on the goal line and just punch it in, not tush push it, but, just kind of let him do his thing. So nothing I saw that I'm like, wow, I got to have this guy. If he falls a little bit later in drafts, the end of the second round, which I don't think he will, that might be where you're starting to take a look at him. But we'll kind of have to wait and see. Next guy here is Ray Davis out of Kentucky, 5'8", 211 pounds, 4'5", 240, 185 rush attempts, almost 1,100 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns, 5.7 yards per carry, and we got 35 yards, 28 receptions for 318 yards. So, what are your thoughts on Mr. Ray Davis, Chris?
I mean, he's 5'8". I want him to do well. He's shorter than me, but sorry.
Yeah, Chris
That
is
was rude.
the short king supporter.
The short
dude.
king supporter.
Get the tall
No,
people
I
out of
just-
here. You're 5'9" and above. That's it. You suck.
No, but yeah, I don't know. I do like the uptick in the passing game personally, but once again, I don't anticipate him starting anywhere. I don't anticipate him doing much in the first year, and I'm a little worried that he will end up becoming the eternal backup somewhere. We are getting in that domain where I mean, he had a 4.52 40-yard dash. It just doesn't. It's not there unless if something turns around drastic, which is very, very possible. But looking at the paper here, I am not too sold, personally. What about you, Joe?
Yeah. Before I get into Ray Davis, I just want to let you know, Chris, that both CD Lamb and Puka are 6'2". So if you want to trade them to me, I'll give you some shorter guys. And get them on your team.
I got short guys too. Don't worry.
Yeah, so I'll hook you up. I'll find
I
Tariq.
just
I'll
like
give you Tariq
Cinderella
Cohen and
stories. All right,
Clyde
listen.
Edwards.
Puka Nacua is his own Cinderella story. Okay, all right.
Chris likes
all
the vertically challenged or
Yeah.
unchallenged.
The
people.
underdogs. But back to
emphasis on the word under.
yeah. Back to Ray Davis, like Chris was saying, he isn't very fast. He's not a super athletic running back. Where I like him is that he has that pass catching ability. If you look at his stats, he had 35 targets for 28 receptions for 318 yards compared to a lot of these other running backs. That's pretty good. I could easily see him being slotted into a team as that receiving back on a team, which in fantasy, especially a full point, if you're a full point PPR league, even half maybe, could be very beneficial. But again, he's not an athletic freak. He's not very fast, so he should be like a mid. I'd say a day 3, day 4 pick. Nothing to write home about. I don't think he's going to be a starter, but he'll probably be a late second, third round dynasty rookie pick.
You said day 4, but you mean round 3 or 4, right?
Yeah,
Day
yeah,
4 is
so-
undrafted.
yeah. No, I meant round 3 or 4.
Day 4 is long.
No, I think he'll get drafted, but I think it's going to be like a mid round.
Yeah, I agree with that. I kind of poo-pooed on Blake Corum before, and he's kind of Blake Corum a little bit quicker, more production minus the touchdowns, and just one of the things I liked about him was he's really good at pass protection, which big trend. Coaches like to see that because it means, okay, we can put you out on third down and you can protect the quarterback and, on third and long, which means you'll see the field more to get more opportunities. But he also puts like 110% effort in every single play. That kid's feet are always moving, which is good. I mean, I like to watch, I like to see the effort these guys are putting in because coaches are going to notice that too. Be like, all right, this guy's going to try in practice. He's going to try all this stuff. We're going to give him a little bit of run. He's a little bit slower, which I was kind of surprised when I saw his combine. He looked like he played faster to me. I thought he was pretty quick on the field, but could have just been a bad day. I don't know. He's going to be a dual threat running back. He could be used in the passing game, like you said, Joe. That's where I see him on a team, not the lead guy. Change of pace back, kind of James White-ish without putting James White name attached to him because I don't see them as the same player. But that kind of role on an offense where they're, you got a couple trick plays up your sleeve. He's the guy that's going to get those plays. So someone I'm paying attention to see where he falls in drafts and what team, that could kind of push him up a little bit. So, all right, next guy here, we got Audric Estime out of Notre Dame, 5'11", 221 pounds, sorry. 4.71 40-yard dash, so he's still running it a bit slower. 209 rush attempts, 1,300 yards, 18 touchdowns, 6.4 yards per carry, 17 targets, 17 receptions, 100% catch rate. That's awesome for 142 yards. Let's go with you, Joe. What do you think?
He's a big guy, so his finesse, his athletic ability should see him some sort of play on a team. He's not very fast. I see him as that guy they bring in on third down at the 1 yard line to just run it to get the first down and then goes back to the bench. Nothing too excited fantasy wise for me unless you're at the goal line. And I like his name. I'll give him that. Chris?
Yeah, I got nothing too much more to say. Unfortunately, I feel like he might be stuck in an eternal. I can't even think. Backup. There we go. Sorry, but I will say I am rooting for you, Aldrich, because you are from Nyack, New York, which means you are very, very close. And yeah, I just want you to be good because then I can say that someone nearby. I don't know you at all, but I can say at least you live near us, me, some other
He's
people.
a little
So,
too
yeah.
tall, though, Chris.
I was just about to say he's 5'11", man. Like, every ride you go into like an amusement park, it has you must be this tall to ride. You
I'm always rooting.
You
I'm always
can't
rooting.
be higher than this.
Yeah,
That's it's opposite. You must be below this. Yeah, I mean he's a really big back, and I thought he's more of a north-south guy. He's not running the outside. He's not making cuts. I'm going that way, and that's it. Could be good between the 20s, but I don't know.
It's good when you're at the 1 yard line. You're like, hey, go that way and get the
go there.
Go.
Yeah, have fun, run in there. But yeah, I don't see too much that I was like really impressed with. But someone to he could be a sleeper because if he goes to a good spot, they need a guy that just runs. He's not going to be like a ceiling guy, but sometimes you need a floor player, and that could be him. Next guy here, Bucky Irving out of Oregon, 5'9". Chris, he's an inch too tall for you. I'm sorry. Maybe he'll take the shoes off, and maybe he'll be good. 192 pounds, 4.55 40.
Become a meme I'll never leave.
You hate tall people. Richie hates Puka, and I hate Blake. So we just got to find out what Joe doesn't like.
T. Higgins.
There you go.
Yeah.
T. Higgins, yeah. All right.
Listen,
now we're gonna find one.
If he plays through a full season, I will get a T. Higgins jersey.
Ooh, okay. All right. I'm gonna clip this and make sure we remember that.
Clip it because it won't happen because he gets hurt every season.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. So Bucky Irving, 163 rush attempts, just over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 6.5 yards per carry, 52 targets, 47 receptions for 361 yards. Joe, Bucky Irving, what do you think? Where does he slot in for you?
I like Bucky Irving a lot. I liked him for a while now, even before this draft class was coming up. Compared to some of the other running backs, he's in my top 5, honestly. He might not be super athletic on paper if you look at it, but if you watch some of his tape, he's a good player, and not only just in the run game, but in the pass game as well, which excites me and should excite a lot of NFL teams looking at him. I'd argue you say he might be my RB4 for the class. He's definitely in my top 5 though, and I like Bucky a lot. I might be biased and completely wrong, but I think he should do pretty well in the NFL, and I'd say draft him. I could see him being a starter.
Get the hose. We need to cool Joe down. There's too much spice. Too much.
Yeah, clearly,
way too much spice.
No, you don't like Bucky?
I did not see that at all. I'll be honest. This is the guy that I saw. If you go back and watch his tape, and please do, the 2 hash marks, he was in between those on 95% of his runs. He did not want to go outside. In fact, in multiple occasions, I watched this guy go to the outside and be like, "Oh, wait, no, I'm past the hash mark. I got to cut back." And he cut back in the center. He always wants to run up the center. And I didn't think that was good for him. And I thought he made some poor decisions. And in choosing to make those cuts, he missed yards. Like he was dropped behind the line of scrimmage a lot because of the cuts he made. So if he is drafted before the 6th round in the NFL, that would kind of surprise me. So we're on 2 opposite ends of the spectrum, man.
You said
What
the
about you,
6th
Chris? Break it
round?
down. Yeah. I
You're
didn't think he was that.
insane, dude.
I may be insane, but I did not like what
Fox
the
Sports
Irvins
has
did.
him as a 3rd to 4th rounder. Just saying.
We'll wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, so I'll step in here and I'll go down the middle here. I don't think he's god awful. I don't think he's the guy. I just think he's there. We're getting, like I said, very weird territory we're in right now. A lot of these guys you're going to pick up, and it's going to be a risk. There's going to be a lot of people in this class that are going to probably end up as a starter, and those that will be either eternal backups or without a team after 2 years. It's going. You're taking a risk at this point, right? And that's how I feel here. This is a very middle of the road thing. I'm not gonna sit here and say that he is the worst thing since non-sliced bread, but he's definitely not sliced bread. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't think he's going to be a 3-down back in the NFL, but I think he's going to be a receiving back, and he's going to get fantasy points. I definitely don't think he's as bad as Matt's making him out to be.
I'm going to let you speak for me right now.
Get him out of here.
Let's wait for that.
That's really
All
good.
right. Next guy, last guy here we're going to talk about is Will Shipley out of Clemson. 5'11", 206 pounds, 2023 season, 156 rush attempts, 811 yards, 5 touchdowns, 5.2 yards per carry, 36 targets, 29 receptions for 222 yards. Chris, Will Shipley, will he be on your roster?
No, probably not. Not unless if I mean, like, if I feel as if, if in the heat of the moment and it's just there, maybe. But he didn't do the combine. He went to the Clemson Pro Day. I believe his 40 time was, I think we have it here, right? Yeah, maybe. No, it was, I actually have it here. Hold on. 4.39, which would have ranked him 3rd amongst running backs. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, like I said, it's a risk no matter what happens here. I see mock drafts having him go to the Texans, which makes it even more iffy for at least your 1st and 2nd year. Maybe after Joe Mixon is gone, who knows? But yeah, that's all I'll have to say.
What about you, Joe?
Yeah, I think Will Shipley's one of those guys that you can get him late in a rookie draft, and you'd be pretty happy with it, getting him where you're getting him. He is a pass definition of a pass catching back. He's caught plenty of passes, and I think most of them went for 7 yards, if I'm not mistaken, which is a great stat and good to see as a pass catching back. He has the build to be a back, so where you get him in the draft, or in the rookie draft, if you can get him, he's not like a 1st round pick by all means, but if you can get him later, I think that's great value for him. And depending on his landing spot, I'd be very happy with it.
I'm just nervous he's not going to get a full, ever get the opportunity. That's my only hesitation, because he's one of the lower backs in the class, and a little bit inconsistent, but he does have tools that can make him a good NFL back. It just depends on opportunity. If he gets it and he showcases that, he might pan out, but I would put that on the lower end of the probability spectrum. So as you saw in the show title, we're going to talk about one tight end. I know Joe thinks there's 2. I'm more on the one side, but yeah, we'll see. Listen to Joe, maybe not me, but Mr. Brock Bowers out of Georgia. 6'3", 243 pounds, 63 targets, 51 receptions for 6 touchdowns. He had a 2.74 yards per route run and a 26% targets per route run, which is pretty good. I mean, for a tight end, that's awesome, man. In college, he's got a similar build to Sam Laporta. Just for reference. And no, I'm not calling him Sam Laporta, but I'm just referencing size. He's got similar size and stature. So that's it. What can be said about Brock Bowers? How high in rookie drafts are you taking him? Let's start there.
Pick 5.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk about him. Brock Bowers is he's incredible. He is one of the best tight end prospects to come out of college, probably since Kyle Pitts, and I think he's a better prospect than Kyle Pitts. And I am a huge Kyle Pitts fan. I think Brock Bowers is a better prospect than Kyle Pitts. He's
Wow.
athletic.
Don't let Kyle Pitts hear you saying that.
That's fine. He's disappointed me enough to let me say it. So
I'll
You
take
just
him.
got a whole new offense. You're gonna let it go now?
Yeah, I'm not letting him go. I'm just saying Brock Bowers. I'm super excited for Brock Bowers. See where his landing spot is, but I think he should be very, very good in the NFL, and easily he's going to be a day 1 pick in the NFL draft, and he is a top 6 dynasty football draft pick. You got the 2 quarterbacks, you were the 3 quarterbacks. You got Jaden Daniels, you got Caleb Williams, and you got Drake May. Then you got your 2 wide receivers. You got Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. And then you have Mr. Brock Bowers in that elite top 6. That's what a lot of people are calling it, the elite top 6. So,
whoa, I did not see that coming, man.
yeah,
I really liked Brock Bowers' tape. He commands a target. He just seems to get open, kind of like watching Travis Kelce. He's just running around the field and he just gets loose, and no one's covering him, and he just catches the ball. He has that kind of upside to me. Again, I'm not calling him Travis Kelce, but
he's better.
that's gonna get clipped too.
Better,
But
okay.
he's someone I would like if I had him. I don't like taking tight ends in the first round, but he's someone I might pull the trigger on.
One more thing on him before you go, Chris, is one other thing I have to say about him is he had tightrope surgery in 2023 and came back like 25, 26 days later, which is crazy, and looked absolutely fine. Which, if I'm an NFL coach or a GM looking like, hey, this guy got hurt, he got major surgery, and he came back 100%. I love seeing that. So, Chris, sorry.
No, you're
continue
good.
to praise Brock Bowers.
I'm not going to say much more. I feel like we covered everything, and honestly, this is the only tight end we're talking about, so it should be a no-brainer on this sense, right? If you need the tight end, they're going to take him. If you're going to take him top 6, go for it. I feel like there'll probably be some, loops in terms of who takes what based on what every team needs, obviously. But I think this is definitely a first-round dynasty guy that's going to get taken somewhere within that top 10, 12 picks, depending on how big your league is. I think there should be issues there. There are plenty of teams that would love a tight end that is consistent at pass catching. So yeah, if that's you and you don't have Travis Kelce or Sam Laporta, or I don't know, maybe David Njoku if you want to go that far, this is probably him. You probably want this desperately. But yeah.
Alrighty. Well,
and it's a damn sin that we're not talking about Jatavion Sanders. It's a sin.
The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Talk about him. Him.
Listen, if you look at the tight end list of this rookie tight end, you have obviously Brock Bowers being a first round draft pick. Then you have Jatavion Sanders, who's around the second round rookie draft pick, and then all the other tight ends are considered like 5th round draft picks. So like pretty much nothing crazy to talk about besides like throwing a rock in a well and hoping that it lands. But Jatavion Sanders, he was a premier recruit out of high school. Granted, he has the size, the athleticism, the receiving abilities. He could be a good tight end in the NFL, and people see that, and that's why he's being taken in second round drafts of rookie drafts. So I think we need to talk about him if we're going to talk about tight ends, because outside of Brock Bowers, he's the only other one that I would talk about. But he deserves a mention.
All right. Well, there it is. You got your Jatavion Sanders. I guess there's two. I'm still on the opinion. I don't like rookie. I don't like rookie tight ends to be honest. Sorry, we have a fun private chat going. But yeah, it's more. I'd rather just trade for a tight end who who has the potential to break out, who's played in the NFL. I look more shying away from rookies. I don't think I drafted Kate Otten because he was like a 5th round pick. It was a value.
Wow.
So that was
What a
it.
pick.
I know, right? But that's
I'm
kind
so
of
sorry.
my mentality. Hey, he's been okay. He's
I don't.
just
I mean,
fine.
I don't blame you. I completely agree. I'm not. I'm
I mean, you
also
have-
on that train.
not everyone can have
I
Travis
hate
Kelce.
taking. I mean, listen. Someone let me have him. That's not on me. Someone allowed me to draft Travis Kelce. He had every opportunity, I think, to take Travis Kelce away from me. I did not take him with that. When we
Yeah,
did
you
that
took
redraft.
Kelce and he took all the quarterbacks, and you still won.
In my
So, yeah,
defense, he
fantasy's
took all the
fun.
quarterbacks because I was stupid and didn't realize it. But it didn't even stop me. I still won.
Yep. I'm coming for you this year.
Yeah, you can say that. You can try.
Yeah, I say that every year.
No, Chris is going to
I'll come for
rebuild
something.
and he's going to trade me all his players.
I'm gonna rebuild. I'm gonna trade Joe everything. He's gonna have my whole team.
We'll see. We'll see. I might be sending a couple offers out your way. We'll have to
Guys,
play that by ear.
he's sending offers.
Got to accept them because I'm the commish. I could just force them through.
He's
That's all
right.
it's going
He's
to be. Yeah, I could. Yeah.
I wish Sleeper told me how tall people were, so I knew who to trade Chris.
That'll be next episode. We just talk about the heights of players and be like, hey, look for Chris.
Anyway.
All right. I think we're going to wrap things up here for tonight. We got another show next week. We're doing some draft prep stuff. We got a couple surprises we're working out, as I said in the last show. So stay tuned to our socials. We're going to try to put something together for all the listeners. Again, please like, share, subscribe, follow the show. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/theheroesff. We're on X at theheroesff, and you can just leave us a review, leave us a question. We'd love to read it on the show. This is question season. Everyone has something that they want to talk about, and that's what we're here for. We want to help you through your dynasty drafts, looking at trades for your dynasty team, and it's never too early to get ready for a redraft. There's a lot of things coming up. Redraft, best ball, like
never too early to overthink your draft and then realize that everything you thought about, all your mental situations, mean nothing when the whole draft gets messed up because someone else gets taken randomly that you didn't expect.
But we're here to help you prepare, so you're not going to panic at that point. You're going to know, okay, they told me this could happen, and it did. I'm going to do this instead. So really helps us out. We'd love to hear some feedback. So until next time, we'll see everyone later. So long, everyone. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Heroes of Fantasy Football podcast. Follow us on Twitter at TheHeroesFF.